So, alright, guys. I'm glad we're able to meet. Now it's March, and on a good day, normally I like us to meet in February. Most times we have our first meeting in February, but that didn't happen this year. Mainly because of the election and the elections. I realize it's a serious time in the lives of people, in the life of a country, and it's a time that people need to reflect. Some people need to express, and it's important to give people that time. It's high emotions, and that's why I didn't call for a meeting before before the elections or during the election, um, because as I said when I sent a message on the group, I think last month, that sometimes when the surface of water is troubled, if you drop a pebble there, it will have no impact. But when the surface is calm and you drop a pebble, you'll see ripples, and the ripples can go very far. And I believe a lot of what we talk about in our meetings are pebbles. And I want it to be, especially our first meeting of the year, I want it to be something that will go far and something you can go back and listen to that will help you as you navigate your way through this year. Now, the year is still very young, even though we've gone like 2 months and a half right now. It's still very young. Um, and some of you might feel, oh man, I've made some mistakes already. It's all right. You still have a couple of months. You still have many months, not just a couple of months. You just gone a couple of months. Um, so I feel it's important to talk to you guys about your time. This is something I've been thinking about since mid last year. I was thinking about time management, because then I was having an issue with my time management, and I was getting very stressed. I was getting very stressed. I was expressing myself in a way that I loved. I was loving everything about my life in terms of expression. But my time management, I knew there was something up, because at the end of the day, or most days, I was stressed. I used to feel like a burden. So most of the time, I just go into my room and just try to relax. Do you understand? And I was thinking, where is this stress coming from? And I realized that the stress was coming from me having so many things that I felt were unattended to. So per hour, I had like 5 messages waiting for me to reply. Then I realized that I had some carried over from yesterday, some from 2 days ago, and I always felt this burden. Oh, I've not answered this person. I've not answered that person. I've not attended to this. Then there was stress from within the home too. You understand? My wife wanted my time. My kids wanted my time. And when I say my kids, it's not like they wanted my time collectively. They wanted my time individually. You understand? So I have 3 kids. So I had to give them individual time. So I had 4 people at home who needed me. I had a lot of people. I had you guys on the platform. So even though I was expressing what I wanted to, I knew that there was a problem with my scheduling. I knew there was a problem because I always went to bed stressed. So it got me thinking about timing a lot. And there was something I read in the Bible that stuck out to me one day. And it was from the book of Mark, chapter 1, verse 37. And it said in that book, it said in the book, in that verse, it said, and when they found him, which is Jesus, they told him, everyone has been looking for you. And when I read that, I could identify with it because it seemed like everyone was looking for me. Do you understand? That's how it felt. I was like, God, this is what I've been praying for, to be able to help people on their journey and live my life, recording content, making content, writing stuff. But then I never ever planned for what came with it or what was to come with it, which was people needing my attention. So it felt like everyone was looking for me. And when I read that part in the Bible, it said Jesus just performed some miracles and then people were following him and he just slipped away and they were looking for him all night. And the next morning they found him and Peter was like, everyone is looking for you now. Where have you been? And he said something interesting. He didn't address the number of people that were looking for him. He just said, it's time for us to go somewhere else. And that caught my attention. I'm like, everyone was looking for him to get value from him. But what did he do? They say, okay, let's get to the first person that came to look for me yesterday, then we'll go through them. He just said, no, no, no. You know what? Leave all those people looking for me. Let's go somewhere else. And that caught my attention. That he had super clarity of what to do that day. And it wasn't influenced by the amount of people that were looking for him from the day before. He was clear about what to do that day, and he wasn't afraid to abandon those people looking for him. Time management is based on clarity. The reason why we have an issue, and most people have issue with time, most people, if you meet 10 people, about 8 of them have an issue managing their time. 8 people go to bed feeling, questioning whether they've used their time right that day. 8 people, if not 9, if not all 10, questioning if they've used their time well. A lot of people go to bed unsatisfied with how they've done what they've done with their time that day. A lot of people feel unsatisfied at the end of their life with what they've done with their time while on earth. It's a very sad thing. And I pray that none of us ever get to that stage where we get old and we kind of think, man, where did all these years go? What did I do? So I'm going to try to tell you how to know what to do with your time and to judge what is important and what is not. A lot of times we apportion our schedule to what is loudest. That's a very faulty way, a very dangerous way to apportion your time. Who screams the loudest gets the first attention. Then you go down the line like that to the person that is less vocal or least vocal. Sometimes the least vocal person is the most important person. The most vocal person is the most unimportant thing to attend to. Sometimes you don't even need to attend to them. So I'll tell you how you can apportion your time. There are three things that your time goes into. 3 things. And they are what I call routine. Number 1 thing, routine. Number 2, assignment. And number 3, commitment. Routine, assignment, commitment. In that order. So if you are writing down, don't write them down in any other order. That order is very important. Routine number 1, assignment number 2, commitment number 3. If you look at it, it spells car backwards. But the problem is a lot of people, in their life and their time management, they spell car the right way. Once you start spelling it the right way, commitments, assignment, routine, you are in danger. You are in danger. Your life is in danger. And I literally mean your life is in danger. I'm not figuratively speaking. Your life is in danger. A lot of people that die early, that walk on the street just collapse from high blood pressure, hypertension, heart attack, is because they have their time management spelled as car and not as RAC. So an easy way to remember how to use your time is to remember that car illustration was spelled backwards, and it should never ever be turned the way that makes sense. Now I'll start with your routine. Now, with every single thing that your time goes to, they are all subdivided into 2 parts. So there are 3 things your time goes into: routine, assignment, commitment. But for each one, they are subdivided into 2 things. And those 2 things are high level and low level. A lot of times we choose the low level things over the high level thing. And I will point out what the high level things in each one is, so that you know to always choose the high level routine over the low level routine, the high level assignment over the low level assignment, the high level commitments over the low level commitments. Because sometimes you can portion your time, routine, assignment, commitments, but you choose the low level things, you are still mismanaging your time. So you must be able to identify, number one, the three aspects of your time, and also the two aspects of each aspect. So you have your routine. And what the routine, those are things that you do every day. Every day, you do them. Whether consciously, subconsciously, you do them. They are routine activities. You do them. They are there in your life. The high level routine activities are those activities that you have no choice but to do. And there are only three. There are only three high level routine activities. Only three, not more than three, that every human being on earth must do to remain on earth. Every single human being. And to know what those routine activities are, look at a baby. A baby is the purest form of a human being. So they are high level routine beings. The first thing is eat. Second thing is sleep. And the third thing is to pass out waste. You go to the toilet, number one or number two. But every human being must do it. Those things will take your time. No matter how busy you are, you will do these three things. You will sleep, you will eat, you will ease yourself. You need to. They will take your time. All of us have done all of them today. If you've not done any of these three, there's something wrong with you. Something critically wrong with you, or something is going to be wrong with you. Those three things are very important. You don't need to budget for them. They've budgeted for themselves. They are there by default. Probably the most important thing every human being needs to do. Those are the only things that babies concern themselves. So when I say babies are the purest form of a human being, is because what babies concern themselves with are the most important things. Eat, sleep, ease themselves. Or every other thing in between, a baby might do or might not do. But those three things, they must do it. Every human being by default must go through those three routines. Those things will take your time. The problem is those three high level routine activities, people still try to bypass them. I'm not even going to focus on the easing yourself. People don't really try to bypass those things. The call of nature, no. People don't bypass that a lot. But those two things, sleep and eating, as incredible as human beings are, as developed as our brains are, the only thing that we are dumber than animals are in doing is respecting the place of sleeping and eating. No animal jokes with that thing. They do it. But human beings always feel they can do without them. If you try to manage your time and cut out those things, your sleep routine, your diet, your eating, not even your diet is what goes in, your eating, you are already messing up your time. Those are high level routines, and they determine whether you stay here on earth or you exit. That's why they are the most important. Nothing on this earth is more important than those three things. Nothing. Nothing. But sometimes I see people try to cut out sleep. In fact, they use it as motivational speeches. How unimportant sleep is. Don't let anybody deceive you. Your body was made to sleep, just like it was made to eat, just like it was made to eat itself. You don't joke with those things. So once you are planning your time and you're not writing in time to eat, time to sleep, your scheduling is already faulty from the foundation. You must always schedule those things in. I remember working in a place once and they never had break time. And I said, why don't you guys have break time? I said, no, we don't have break time. We're always working, we're always working. We must work. Our guy must not see us having break time. I said, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And people were breaking down anyhow there, falling down and dying. Say this guy had BP, died. This guy had this, died. I'm like, why won't they die? They work all around the clock. Say there's no closing time. There was no break time, no closing time. So Oga can call you anytime. Terrible work environment. Terrible. Eating, sleeping, Easing yourself, very important. Highest level routine. Then you have, I remember those high level routines keep you, makes life accept you. If you don't give life those routine activities, life will reject you. And that means death. Now, the low level routine activities are those things you do, not for life particularly to accept you. Life only accepts you when you have those three things. Those are three. That's the only thing life demands. The second aspect of routine and low level activities, life will not reject you if you don't do these things. But society might reject you. Most probably, society would reject you. And those are things we do that take our time. We all do them too, at least most of us. I can't guarantee that we all. Those are things we do. And those things have to do with grooming. Your grooming. You brush your teeth, have your bath, take care of your skin, cut your hair, make your hair if you're a lady, um, wear good clothes, iron your clothes, stuff like that. Most of us do this thing. Most of us have done this thing this today. You understand? You do all those grooming things. Why do we do grooming? If you don't brush your teeth, you won't die. You won't die. If you don't cut your hair, you won't die. But you know what? If you don't cut your hair, don't brush your teeth, don't take your bath, people will not associate with you. Society will reject you. Society will reject you. Life will accept you, but society will reject you. They'll look at you as a mad person. So if you're going to look for a job, they won't give you that job. If you go and meet a lady, she won't accept your advances. If you're a lady, a guy will not come near you. You understand? That's what happens when you don't do the low level routine. You understand? You have to groom. Grooming is important. So we groom. Animals too groom. Animals groom. Dogs groom. Cats are super groomers. They groom themselves. Most of the time, the monkeys groom. You see them picking out stuff from ticks from their body. You understand? They all groom. If they don't groom, the community, the society will reject you. It's hard to integrate if you're not well groomed. The better groomed you are, the more you are accepted. So you must make time for grooming. You understand? You must make time for grooming. Make time. Go and cut your hair. Make time. Brush your teeth. Brush it in the morning, brush it at night, take your bath. But then, where time management comes, is when you're in a hurry. You have an appointment. Which one do you do? You're going to be late. Do you skip food or skip bath? Now, this is where we always go for low level routine. 90% of people will skip food and take their bath. It's not a very smart decision. It's not a very good way to manage your time. Eat the food. A lot of us, we go for the low level when there's emergency. So we prioritize the low level and deprioritize the high level. So we rush out of the house. Rush out of the house. But we take time to go and shower. We will rush the shower. Take time to wear our best suit. Then go out and faint at the bus stop. I was talking to someone, a young lady the other day. She told me how she fainted at the bus stop and how embarrassing it was for her. I asked her what happened. She said she didn't eat because she had an appointment. So she went and she had to go back home. Because when she fainted, she made her clothes were dirty. And people were trying to carry her and pour water on her. So she had to go back home, miss the appointment altogether. Terrible time management. Never take for granted those high level routine activities. Never. They're important. It's a tool of the devil to deceive us that they're not important. Sleep, important. Please, by all means, sleep. Sleep. You function better when you sleep. Very important. Those things, very important. High level routine, low level routine. So I won't spend too much time on that, but that's that. You understand? So when you have things juggling, you know which one to pick over the other. You understand? If you are late, wash your face, wash your face, wash your head, wash your hand. Nobody will know. Wash your face. But eat that breakfast. Even if you're eating it on the go, eat that breakfast. Eat it. Prioritize sleeping early. There's no series in this world that is more important than sleeping early. I'm still struggling with that. You understand? Sometimes I'm watching a series, a documentary, and then I go to bed 12 midnight, and I have to wake up at 5 o'clock. When I wake up, I feel terrible and I'm like, what is going on? Why? Why did I make that decision? That was a bad decision because it will affect my next day. Why? I could have gone to bed at 10:30. Why didn't I? So routine, first part. Routine, high level routine, low level routine. Remember, you can't say no to the high level routines. Prioritize them. Now, assignments. This is a very important part. Assignments have to do with God, have to do with spirituality. A lot of people are totally oblivious to this part of your time. Assignment. A lot of people are so oblivious, especially as the world advances. People are so oblivious of spirituality, oblivious of God. But this is the part of your time that gives meaning to your time and gives order to your time. Assignments have to do with God. So you have high level assignments, low level assignments. Now, what's the high level assignment that every human being has? High level assignment. The high level assignment is just one, to know your creator, to develop a relationship with your creator. That's your assignment on this earth. When you die, that's what you'll be judged on. Every other thing doesn't matter. That's the first criteria of whether you lived a good life or not. How much of God did you know while on earth? How much did you search for? What was your relationship with God? No assignment in this world is more important than that assignment, to build a relationship with God. It's funny how that's at the bottom of the barrel for a lot of us. Your life can never make sense if you don't know your creator. You can't. You can't. There's no way you can. I've tried it. Every time I tried it, my life spun out of control. Every time. Every time. Know God. And you know God through certain activities, through prayer. Make time to pray. Make time to have a conversation. You pray to God. You talk with God. I don't care what your religion is. Every religion makes room for talking with a higher being. Everyone makes room for it. That's what that in itself is spiritual. That's the essence of spirituality. Is the communication with God, the intimacy with God. You must schedule that into your time. This is what gives your time in life meaning. Communication with God. It's so important. So important. Highest level assignment. Now we have low level assignment. The low level assignment is what God will have you do part time. Those are low level assignments. That means when you talk with God, God tells you to do certain things. He communicates with you either audibly. Some people can hear, some people can feel, some people read. You understand? Whether they're spiritual books, might be the Bible, whatever book you are reading, but you read it and God points you a particular direction to do something. Whether either in the short term or in the long run, God tells you to do something. Now, that's low level. And I say that's low level, not because it's not important to do what God wants, but it's more important to know God than to do what God wants. And I'll explain this so that you don't get confused. I'll tell you about my life. You see, I've learned to develop a relationship with God and talk with Him and pray. And pray. Very important. But at a point, God started telling me what to do for Him as an assignment. And if you listen to my podcast, I talk about difference between assignment and a job. Do you understand? There are different things. And we'll come to that here too. But you see, God told me some things to do as an assignment. Nobody was paying me for it. But in the end, I felt compelled to do them. Now, I started doing the assignments. So one of it was recording ProUp Masterclass, starting ProUp Masterclass. It was a God-led assignment. Do you understand? I knew God was telling me to do it. When I started writing, I knew God was telling me to write because He was putting the words to write in my mind. But you know what happened after a while? I got caught up with the assignment and started ignoring the relationship. So I wake up in the morning, first thing I'll think of is, man, what do I want to record? Go and record a voice note. Because God told me something to reach out to somebody. Go and record something for ProUp Masterclass. Go and write something. It became priority, not the relationship anymore. So that would be the first thing I would do in the morning. Just start thinking of what can I write? What can I put up on Twitter? What can I put up on my podcast? What can I put up on Instagram? What I put up on my WhatsApp status became priority. You see, why the relationship is more important than the assignment? Because the relationship fuels the assignment. When I started doing that, I started hearing less. So I didn't know what to do anymore as an assignment. God's voice started becoming muffled in my ear. So you know what? I started doing it in my own strength. I started being logical. I started putting off smart stuff instead of spiritual stuff. There's a difference. Smart stuff is the stuff your brain tells you that makes sense. A lot of times people will clap for the smart stuff and share it. It makes so much sense. But the smart stuff doesn't matter. The spiritual stuff is the assignment. And the spiritual stuff only comes from an intimate relationship with God. So some of you, you know your assignment. A lot of times you get lost in those low-level assignments that we don't pray anymore. It happens to a lot of people. Spiritual leaders, that's their biggest problem. They are there helping people, preaching, healing, motivating. But their lives are dying because they are not praying anymore. They have no inner relationship with God anymore. So there was a guy called Martin Luther, not Martin Luther King. Martin Luther, this one was a reformer way before Martin Luther King. He was not a black guy, he was a white guy. Now, Martin Luther was a very influential spiritual leader of his time. And he made a statement. He says the more he was growing in his popularity as a spiritual leader, the more time he spent praying. So as he grew, he spent more time praying. It seemed contrary because a lot of times our lives are opposite. The busier we are, the more it affects our time with God. So we cut it down because God understands now. I need to attend to 500 people. So 2 minutes prayer. No. The more you are needed, the more you need God. The more you should honor that high level assignment. The low level assignment is not as important. Not as important. I guarantee it's not as important. That's why some people they see maybe someone that was doing really good work die. Maybe dies in an accident or dies young or something like that. And why now? But he was doing the work now. It was that not as important. The work is not as important as the relationship. I'm telling you, a lot of people it's cut short. They're doing the work cut short. The relationship is more important. I was reading about a character in the Bible called Stephen. Stephen is not spoken about for a very long. I think it's just about a chapter where we hear about Stephen. A chapter in Acts. Was it Acts or I think Luke? I can't remember. But just a short chapter on Stephen. It was him preaching one message and dying immediately after he preached that message. Immediately after they killed him. He was not an old man. He was a young man. He died young. Some people have said, but he must have had a lot of things to do. Why did they cut it short? Because you know what? The relationship is more important. The relationship is more important. That's what gives us rest at the end of the day. When someone dies young, the question is not how much did he get to do? The question is, did he know God? That's what gives people rest. Closure from grief at the end of the day. That I know that this person knew God. You might not have been able to do much, but he knew God. High level assignment, low level assignment. Very important to know the difference between the two. Now, the third thing, commitment. Now, this is the most important part because this is where people's lives fall off the rails. This is where the tires come off on most people's lives. Commitment. So if you are writing, don't write now, just listen because these commitments can get a bit confusing. What confuses people the most, but then it can derail people's lives because a lot of people, they don't honor routine. Some people are oblivious to assignments, but commitment, everybody recognizes commitment. And some people, that is all their time is about. Commitment. Most of the people that tell you, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy, I couldn't answer your call, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy, is because they are committed. It is the lowest thing you should apportion your time to. Commitment. As a matter of fact, it's one of those things you should cut down the more your time is going to make meaning. If your time is going to make meaning, you have to have less commitment. So people that have so many commitments is inversely proportional to meaning. You understand? Commitment should reduce as you grow older, not increase. Commitment. Now, commitments are those things you that have to do with interaction with people. Interaction with people. That's what commitments have to do with. A lot of routines have to do with interaction with self. Um, Assignments have to do with interaction with God. Commitments has to do with interaction with people. And now you can see why it's at the bottom of the barrel. Because people are fickle. People are not dependable. You can't trust them. Someone loves you tomorrow, loves you today, hates you tomorrow. Can't explain why he loves you or hates you. Why he started hating you, can't explain. You understand? People are fickle, so you can never ever build anything on the reliability of people. So commitments have to do interaction with people. And high level commitments are those commitments that build or increase your knowledge or your wealth. Or and your wealth. Those are high level commitments. Any commitment that increases your knowledge or and your wealth. Those are high level commitments. Low level commitments are things that don't increase any of this. That's very simple. It doesn't increase knowledge, it doesn't increase wealth. They're low level immediately. A lot of times, those low level commitments, what they increase is popularity. It increases popularity in the sense of it increases the amount of people that you know, relationship and stuff like that. But we commit to those low level commitments. And I will give you an example. A lot of times you spend time on social media. I used to spend time a lot on social media. I still try to cut down a bit. Then I was so insecure about leaving somebody's comments unanswered. So they asked me a question, I must answer. I must like. Because the polite thing to do. But then I realized it take a lot of my time. And I'm like, I don't know this person. What they just said is, oh, nice one, sir. Why am I committing so much time to liking a lot of nice ones, sir? Nice ones, sir. Good ones, sir. Makes sense, sir. Why am I committing so much time to that? Does it increase my knowledge? No. Does it increase me wealth-wise? No. When I say wealth can be a lot of things, but I'm talking about money right now. Doesn't increase any of those things. Why am I committing so much time? Why am I committing so much time to watching some videos, skits? Skits. How does skit increase my knowledge? And how does it increase my wealth? Low level commitments. But I will be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think I was a skit watcher till I became active on Facebook. And there was a day I just sat down and I was just going through videos, just flipping up videos. So I know I spent like 45 minutes watching skits, watching people slap each other, watching people do the most ridiculous things. I'm like, what is all this? It didn't mean anything. They were placebos. Didn't mean anything, didn't lead to anything. I didn't increase in knowledge, I didn't increase in wealth, but I committed 45 minutes of my time. And that day I can remember my son was calling me. Let's go and do that. And I pushed it aside. I pushed him aside to commit to people I don't know doing things that don't add up to anything. If you can cut out those low level commitments, good. It's hard. Realistically, it's hard. But reduce them. Or catch yourself while you're doing it and just say, this is a low level commitment. It does not worth my time. High level commitment increases you in knowledge and in wealth. Knowledge in itself is a type of wealth. That's why I said knowledge and wealth being financial wealth. Very important. Now, the complication about commitments is you need to question what increases you in knowledge and in wealth, because some of them are not very obvious. So a lot of people will say, okay, so a job is a high level commitment. It depends on the job. A lot of jobs are low level commitments. High level commitment jobs are jobs that increases you either in knowledge or in wealth. Very few people work jobs that increase them in knowledge or in wealth. Increase them. No, very few people. Some people think because they earn a salary, it increases them in knowledge, but they've forgotten that they're not earning, they're being compensated. A lot of people confuse earning with compensation. They are not the same thing. Very few people earn. Most people are compensated. And what this means is if you work a job that you go and do the job, and then they pay you something that is just okay for you to manage. At the end of the day, the salary you can't doesn't increase your personal wealth. All the salary has gone at the end of the month. That means it's not enough. That means, you see what the word compensation, what it means is we will replace what you've given. When they say we'll compensate you, that means that a lot of times it means that we will give you something. We can't give you back what you're giving up, but this is a compensation. Don't be annoyed. That's what compensation means. The best a compensation can be is equal to what you are giving in. That's the best compensation. Most compensation is slower. So compensation is someone steals my Jeep, Toyota Prado, and because it was stolen in front of my friend's house, my friend buys me a Toyota Corolla. He has compensated me. Or at best, he buys me a Toyota Prado back. I've not earned anything. There's no earning there. There's nothing to rejoice about. What has been lost has been given back. That's how a lot of jobs are. They are a waste of time because all you are doing is they are compensating you. The money is not enough. A good job is where you earn, and most people are not earning. What earning means is you are paid and you are left with something over. That means you are being paid more than what you are giving. That is earning. That's when you have earned. So a job can be a low level commitment if you are being compensated instead of earning. And if you are not earning, you must be learning. So most jobs you are not learning. So if you are working a job whereby the same activity you've been doing for the past 2 years that you've been the activity, the responsibility has not changed. You're not learning anything. You can go to job and close your eyes and do the job and go home. You're not learning jack. The money is not enough. You're not earning. It's a low level commitment. Don't deceive yourself. You're wasting your time. Low level commitment. You should say no to it. It's not worth your time. It's the kind of low level commitment that people prioritize that they regret at the end of their lives. Those low level commitments. Because they confuse engagement with learning, and they confuse compensation with earning. They're two different things. The fact that you're engaged doesn't mean you are growing in knowledge. You're just engaged. So think about the job you are doing. If you are working with a client, you might not be an employee, you might be an entrepreneur. You are working with a client, your money has not increased on the same duty you've been doing since you met this person 2 years ago, Every time you ask for increment in payment, they say, ah, no, 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 let's just keep it like that. The person is wasting your time. You drop that client. A waste of time. Because you're not earning anymore. They're now compensating. If the activity you're doing for a client, all they come for is flyer design, flyer design, flyer design. They have not increased from that flyer design to something else. It becomes a waste of time after, because you're not learning anymore. You know how to do that job with your eyes closed. It's not tasking your mind anymore. Such clients, you let them go. Because they are recurring clients doesn't mean they are good clients. They are wasting your time. A lot of times we like those kind of jobs because they are easy. And I hear a lot of designers tell me, the job is not stressful anymore. I can do it. I don't even need to think about it. They have a template. You don't know you're killing yourself. They have a template. You ought to be doing template job with your brain. Your brain is not a template material. It survives on challenges. That's how it gets bigger. So if you can survive on a template for years, that is a bad client. I say it because I've had bad clients before. The jobs became too easy. After a while, I started hating the jobs. Those jobs, I can't even put them in my portfolio because there's nothing to them. It's just change this, change the word, change this, change the word. I was working with a school like that once. I thought it was good till my eyes cleared. Because every time I told them, okay, you've been paying me this for this. You know what? Put me on a retainer. Pay me this every single month and let it be this. They said, no, 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 no. We are trying our best now. Because it was high then doesn't mean to be sufficient 2 years later. I stopped earning. I started being compensated. So we parted ways. One of the best decisions ever. So you see, low level commitment. You need to question them. That's where it gets very confusing. Time with your wife or your spouse or your girlfriend or whatever it is. High level commitment or low level commitment. It depends. It depends on who your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, or your relationship partner is. Sometimes it's a low level commitment. Sometimes we just give these things, we just allocate them high level because of what people have said over time. Because you are married doesn't mean that your time with your wife is a high level commitment. Who is your wife? Who is your husband? What do you guys discuss? Do they challenge you? Do they give you ideas that make you make more money? Or what do you guys talk about? Do you just make out? Have sex? That's all? Low level commitment. Low level. That's why some people don't go home straight from work. Because they know that at home is low level commitment. And then I'm going to tell you guys, some of you are married, some of you are unmarried. Choose your partner well. Oh. Let your partner be a high level commitment. Increase you in knowledge and in wealth. I'm telling you, nothing better than that thing. I'll tell you something. Every single thing I have done in terms of personal project that has brought money to me, I'll say for the first time here, was my wife's idea. None of it was my idea. ProUp Masterclass, not my idea. It was my wife's idea. Premium mentoring, not my idea. My wife's idea. Light, not my idea. My wife's idea. PMA Academy, my wife's idea, not my idea. I'll be humble enough today. None of them were my idea. The only idea I've had in my life that has made me money is to design a logo for people. All these other outlets have not been my idea. It's my wife that gave me the idea. And I fought with her before I took any of these ideas. I said, no, 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 I can't do it. Ah, no, 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 I don't want to do it. No, 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 I don't do it. Then later I'll think about it. Makes sense. So it's like 2 months, 6 months later, Pro Masterclass was not my idea. It was my wife's idea. She thought about it in the kitchen. I'll never forget that day. She told me, why don't you start teaching people on YouTube? When I started mentoring, she said, why don't you develop this thing into a mentoring this? When I started this lights that I'm doing right now, that is 3K a month. Some of you don't know about lights. Some of you know. I don't think but I'll share it with you guys on the group. She was the one that told me this is what you need to do. Is she a high level commitment or a low level commitment? Of course, she's a high level commitment. High level commitment. I will quit any job if my wife tells me to quit the job. I'll quit any job. That's why there's some people that call me. They'll tell me Mr. Tola doesn't pick his phone. And that's true. I'm very somehow picking my phone. I'm not a very phone person. I prefer send me a voice note. I'll send you a voice note back. Let me see you coming. I'm that introverted. But my wife's phone call, I don't joke with it. I can park my car to call my wife. Anyway, because I prioritize what she wants to tell me. I know that what she wants to tell me can save my life. I don't joke with it. Some people don't pick their wife's call. Oh. What she wants to say, she will tell them when she will tell him when he gets home. Or their husband, they don't pick a call. Then what does he want to say? Let's continue, Jerry. I can't do it because I know there's value there. So marriage in itself or relationship with the opposite sex is not by virtue of being a relationship or being married a high level commitment. Who is the person? What do you do together? Time with your kids, high level commitment, low level commitment. It's not automatic. It is what do you do with your kids. So if all you do with your kids, you're on the phone, they're on their own phone, it's not a high level commitment. Don't deceive yourself. It's not a low level commitment. You can go away and still do what you're doing without them. But if what you're doing with your kids is engaging with them, getting to know them, getting to listen to them, getting to build their talent, then it's a high level commitment because it builds knowledge and it builds wealth. And that's why the Bible says that he that has many kids has a quiver full, like an arsenal. He's rich. Because you know what? When you invest time in your kids, they build talent, they build skill. In the long run, they allow you to relax earlier in your life. Do you think Lionel Messi's father is hustling anything anywhere? He's not. Not hustling. Do you think Mbappe's father is working any job for anybody? Because he had high level commitment with his child. They knew what they were doing together. Now he's relaxing, watching his son. Doesn't pay any rent anymore. Rent. Doesn't buy cars anymore. No. He has increased in wealth through his son. But not everybody will gain that. Some people, your child will ignore you when you're old because your investment in them was nothing. So it's not automatic. That's why commitments are hard. You need to question them. Some friends are more important than your parents. They can't be important just by virtue of the fact that you have the same DNA. No, that doesn't add to your knowledge or your wealth. Some friends are more important than your parents because what they build in you is more than what your parents have built in you for the past 20, 30 years. In fact, they built some things that your parents have torn down. So sometimes you say, Daddy, I can't come, or I have this appointment with my friend. It doesn't mean that you're a callous person. It just means that you know what your time is going into. I was watching this movie, a movie by Mount Zion. It was a movie about what's his name? Adeboye. And there was a part that stuck out to me. I can't remember all the other parts, but I can remember that part when his mother was sick. His mother was sick in a coma. And he was with her for a while, sat down with her and just said, Look, Mommy, I have to go. Not like I don't love you, I love you. But I love God more. I have to go and preach. And left her. You know, sometimes people look at this guy's a callous boy. Oh. He can't cancel that thing he's doing. You see, the reality is he understood high level and low level things. He understood. He knew assignment over commitment. He knew. And sometimes when you have assignment over commitment, sometimes you seem like a terrible person. Not all people understand this. But we must come to a place where we understand it. Because you go to bed at night peaceful and fulfilled. And that is how we must use our time. Routine, assignment, commitment. And it goes that way. So sometimes some things we compete with each other. So you always choose high level routine over high level assignment. High level assignment over high level commitment. So when you see those things come together like that, you must know choose this over this, over this, over this. You understand? That's how you choose it. So I know some people will tell you, I mean, are you telling me eating is more important than praying? Yes. Yes. How do you pray well? How will you pray well? Don't eat, you don't sleep. You start praying rubbish now. You'll be delusional. There's a place in the Bible that talks about Elijah. The guy had not slept, had not eaten. Started talking rubbish. Nobody else. I'm the only one left. I will die. Started having suicidal thoughts. And God told him, oh yeah, go and sleep. I'll prepare food for you. Prepare food for him twice. His brain started coming back. God made it that way. Routine, high level routine over high level assignment over high level commitment. That's how your schedule should be. Low level commitment, identify them. Say no more often to those things. Say no, say no, say no. Think about it, say no. Because you realize you don't even have the time for it. Nobody has 24 hours. That 24 hours thing is a lie. It's a lie. People that say you have 24 hours, no, you don't have 24 hours in a day. 24 hours make a day, but you don't have 24 hours in a day. At best, people have 4 hours. 4 hours in a day. Every other hour, those other 20 hours, around that 4 hours, you are winding down. You have 4 effective hours per person. Nobody has 24 hours. What you do within those 4 active hours, because we have active hours. When we are most active, our senses are active, our mind is clear. It's no more than 4 hours, sometimes even 2 hours. Nobody has 24 hours. That's why I don't like the school system. It's flawed, highly flawed. Any school system that keeps people in an environment for more than 4 hours is flawed. So why should children be in school from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock? They've already started winding down in their head. Before break time, they started winding down. Nothing is going into their ears actively anymore. That's why the work environment is highly flawed. 9 to 5? Who has that much concentration time? Nobody. Every other thing is you use 2-3 hours winding down. Now, this is the problem I have with the work environment. I'm going to veer off a bit here. The work environment, the typical work environment, assume that everybody is a morning person. And if you assume that everybody is productive between the hours of 9 to 5, that is very, very erroneous. Not everybody is a morning person. Some people are night people. Their 2 hours are from 6 o'clock to 8 p.m. 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Some people, their own, they've missed it before they showed up at work. Say it's 5:30 to 7. And that time, they're either in a bus or in their car. So by the time they get to work, they're already winding down. So your ability to know yourself will show you what kind of work you should have. What work you should say yes to. I was talking to someone the other day. The person was saying, it was like I was arguing, trying to convince the person. He was saying, this person has to work with me 9 to 5. I said, which designer wants to work 9 to 5? Come to your office and sit down. I mean, you guys should stop that rubbish you guys are doing. Let these people work from where they are. If they don't work well, you fire them. But that they will come and sit down in one cubicle with you, they won't do that stuff anymore. They won't concentrate. You must let them work at the time when their juices are fresh. I had to find that time for myself. Look, for me, most productive time for me, 8 to 10. 8 o'clock in the morning to 10. Half of the content I record is 8 to 10. That makes sense. Half of the thing I write, they come to my mind 8 to 10 o'clock. As from that 10 o'clock, I started winding down my day. I'm super distracted. I start getting, from 12 o'clock, I'm already tired. I'm looking for a bed to sleep on. You see, if I don't know myself, I seem irresponsible to somebody, but I know myself. That's why I'm super effective. Super effective, even though I use those 2-3 hours. By 10 o'clock, I tell my wife, by 10 o'clock, my day is okay. I've done what I need to do for the day. I can sit down and watch Netflix for the rest of the day, and I will not feel guilt. I used to feel guilt before because I used to think, how do I look to other people? But then when I started seeing that I was still productive, still earning, still learning, and I'm done for the day, I watch Netflix without anybody, no guilt on my mind. I'm just, why is this 40-year-old guy watching Netflix early in the morning when people are hosting? Because I'm done. I've used my time well. I know what my commitments are. I know what my assignment is. I know what my routine is. Every other thing, addendum. You don't need to go to bed tired. You don't need to go to bed stressed. You don't need to go to bed fatigued. It shows that there's something wrong with your scheduling. So that's what I want to discuss with you guys today. And I want you guys to take time. Think about it. Go back, listen to this message. I hope I'm recording it because sometimes I can do some funny things like that. But Think about it. I'll stop the recording now. Allow us to ask questions from now to 6:30. If you have questions, you can answer. If you don't have questions, that's okay too. You can just take time to think about it. But don't give me some time to stop the recording so it doesn't get too long if I'm going to put it up as a podcast. So, Mario, I can see you're speaking, but give me some time to stop this
Yeah.
recording.
Okay, so stop.